17% of greenhouse gas emissions come from deforestation, another 20% from land use change. This is more than the total emissions of the United States and China combined. If we do not address tropical deforestation immediately, all other efforts to slow climate change will fail. In Madagascar, Conservation International is demonstrating how economic incentives for keeping forests standing through carbon market initiatives like REDD and reforestation projects are being used to stimulate equitable economic growth. CI's Madagascar forest carbon projects create a model for how thoughtful management of ecosystems provides for healthy people, landscapes, and economies while supporting global efforts to slow and adapt to climate change. Begin your tour in the Andasibe-Mantadi corridor, a hub of nature-driven economic growth. Here, the local community delivers carbon emissions reductions through reducing deforestation and replanting native forests. This includes efforts in sustainable agriculture. The World Bank has made an important commitment to purchasing the project's carbon credits, further validating the voluntary carbon market model and showcasing the desirability of projects that deliver benefits beyond slowing climate change.
Hi, I'm Daniel Jean, and I've got the best job in the world. I get paid to fly over the most beautiful places on Earth. Several years ago, I flew over Madagascar to assess its forests, and I used satellite imagery and aerial photography. What I saw was pretty amazing, but in some areas, unfortunately, what I do see during these aerial surveys is that forests are under threat and they're being heavily impacted. And sadly, this is happening everywhere. In fact, we destroy more than 1 acre of forest per second.
Further north, the forests of the Montagnes des Français are being cut for charcoal, a threat to habitats across the island. Forest carbon income through REDD would replace the need for harvesting charcoal with sustainable financing for keeping this forest intact. The French mountain also provides a flow of fresh water that is essential for mangroves and coral reefs. Just south of the French mountain, the Makira Climate Project, which CI supports with the Wildlife Conservation Society, is proving there is important international interest and investment in forest carbon markets, the kind that will be supported by REDD. Makira's initial credit offering attracted major sources of support, including the band Pearl Jam, who offset the emissions of 3 concert tours through the purchase of carbon credits here.
Pearl Jam has done at least 3 partnerships with CI. I was really impressed by how wide of a net they cast around the planet, how many different organizations they partnered with. We looked at our carbon footprint and funded the protection of 800 hectares of rainforest in the Makira rainforest, which was our way of sort of keeping carbon on the ground, while if we're putting it up, we're at least trying to keep it on the ground.
Scanning the forest around Lake Kinkuni, it is clear that national-level forest protection and restoration are vital both to store carbon and secure fresh water and food resources for the people of Madagascar. Here, people depend almost entirely on fish for their livelihood, and if river sources in the surrounding highland forest disappear, thousands may go hungry. Efforts by local fishermen to sustainably manage their fish stocks will be in vain if national policy does not maintain the forested watershed that filter and deliver fresh water. REDD programs can provide national-level incentives to do this. Now, we visit Tungambarka Forest, which provides a vital service to the isolated port city of Fort-Dauphin and for the recent mining operation in the area. Future economic development is dependent on conservation. The forests provide the only reliable fresh water. Payments for forest protection through carbon markets and REDD initiatives provide economic incentives for maintaining the forest rather than cutting them down for unsustainable timber harvests, human settlements, or conversion to agriculture. Finally, CI is creating cutting-edge science to support forest carbon economies through our team network, which collects data on tropical ecology at sites like this one, at Ranmafana National Park. Through TEAM, CI and our partners assess local dependency on the forest and measure thousands of trees a year to calculate the park's carbon capture and storage. Such standardized data tells us how climate change is affecting carbon stocks and tree growth. and provides information that's used to strengthen carbon markets and inform policy by decision makers worldwide. CI's projects in Madagascar demonstrate how carbon markets deliver economic growth and are vital to securing long-term health and stability. The island, taken as a whole, can be viewed as a pilot for testing the potential for carbon markets worldwide. And Madagascar is proving this case. Countrywide, deforestation has decreased 36% in the last 10 years. Add your voice to CI's efforts and help us convince the world's leaders that any agreement coming out of Copenhagen must include protections for forests and must include funding for those protections. Together, we can respond to climate change while securing a thriving future for nature and all humankind.